Yo, YouTube, this is the 26th episode of the podcast. Today I'm here with Henry, Jacob, and Danny. This is a one-topic rundown. It's just going to be about the NFC North predictions. This is going to be a continuous series. All right. Jacob, what are your predictions on the NFC North? Just like you know what I mean? This is the predictions.
Yeah. Okay. So the fourth seed, I have the Detroit Lions at 2-14 or 3-13. So my reasoning behind this is that they have a weak team. They are not very strong. Their run game is all right. Their quarterback game he's all right. And the wide receivers are not good at all, in my opinion, at least. I think, Brashad Perriman can be good at times. Tyrell Williams has had very good seasons. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, who we have not seen before, we don't know how he's going to be. But I think it's 3 years. I think you give them 3 years, they can be good. And yeah, I think first of all, I want to also say taking Penei Sewell was a waste of a pick because they do not need a line and they needed a receiver. And Devonta Smith was right there on the board for them to get. So that's my reasoning behind that for the Lions. Number 3, I have the Chicago Bears. So I think Andy Dalton is supposedly the starter right now. And I think he'll start for 3 weeks. He'll get benched after 3 weeks. They'll go 0-3. Fields will turn the season around a bit and make them go 9-8. And so that puts them at third in the division with a semi-strong division, not going to lie, if you look at it. And so if you look at their defense, the Bears defense, Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack, it's pretty good. And then you have Akeem Hicks on the line, and they signed Kyle Fuller in the offseason. And then they have Eddie Jackson's pretty good. So I think they have a very good defense, and they have an offense on the rise. Not to mention, Allen Robinson was amazing last year, very underrated. And David Montgomery, he was underrated, but then he started to get a bit overrated as time went on. Okay, so number 2, I have the Minnesota Vikings going 11-6. So let's start off with the offensive side. We have Kirk Cousins for QB, who has who's not that good, but was able to make something out of nothing. Let me explain what I mean by that. So if you look at his numbers in the beginning of the season, he was not as good. He was turning the ball over a lot, but then as the season went on, he started to ball out. Not ball out necessarily, but he was putting up way better numbers than he did in the first half, and his turnovers were reduced for sure. And then we go to the defensive side. They have Harrison Smith, who is a very good safety and has been for years. And they have do they still have Kendricks? I think they do. I don't know. But
I think they do.
Yeah, their defense, Eric Kendricks. Their defense is not where their strength is their offense. So if the defense can just perform semi decent and the offense just is good, then they can definitely win games. So then the first seed, this is assuming Aaron Rodgers stays. So 13-4 for the Green Bay Packers, winning the division. So let's start off with Aaron Rodgers, the MVP from last year, who was supposed to have a down year, who was not supposed to be that good last year, turned out to be outstanding. Now, he cannot finish in the NFC Championship, but he has gotten there many times, which people say, oh, he's a fraud, he can't win anything. But if you look at it, what QB, no QB makes the NFC Championship that consistently. No QB makes the NFC Championship as consistently as Aaron Rodgers does, besides Tom Brady with the AFC, but that's the only guy. Or even, I guess you could say Mahomes now, but you get what I'm trying to say. Only 3 QBs in the league. So that's why I think the Packers will be the 1 seed, but I do not think they will make the Super Bowl again.
All right, Henry, what are your predictions for the NFC North?
All right, I have the Lions at the bottom. I don't know what they did in the draft. I'm a believer in what the lineman they drafted. What's his name? God, I'm blanking out. The lineman they drafted. I believe he can be very good, but it's not what they needed. With a not great quarterback who will have average games, and mostly he doesn't average good numbers. But I have a feeling they should have drafted a receiver. Devonta Smith was there. Even a cornerback. They still had both top cornerbacks in the draft, and I just feel like that was kind of a wasted pick because that's something they didn't really need. Their record, I predict 4-13. And then now at third we have the Bears. Honestly, with this one, the Bears got it kind of hot in the end. They were able to make they were the final seed for the wild card. So I feel like they say Andy Dalton's going to start, but I have a feeling after a few weeks, Fields is definitely going to come in, and I think Fields is going to take over there. So I feel like this team's going to be a 3 seed, but if Fields starts popping off, then they could easily be a 2 seed based off how the Vikings play. But I have them coming in at let's see, I would say 8 and 9. For the Vikings, they'll come in 2, but honestly, I could see this team having a sort of a down year. I mean, they hadn't had a really great year since really a while. I mean, they made it to the playoffs. What year was it where they lost to the Eagles in the first round? I think that was 2019, maybe.
It was the NFC Championship, 2017, 2018.
And then I have a feeling that they might have they
they made the playoffs. They made the playoffs in 2019, 2020.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. That was their first really good year for a while. But I just feel like the team, they've lost a lot of good players. So they have talent though in Justin Jefferson and Harrison Smith. So I feel like this year, they'll come in second, but I think it could be close between the Vikings. I have them Vikings coming in 9 and 8. At last, I have the Green Bay Packers. They're gonna go 13-4. They're good, and I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a good year, but nothing compared to this year. This year was really special, but what? Yes.
Did you say at last?
Or at first, I have the Packers, and here with the Packers, their team's just good. They have the best receiver in the league, in my opinion, and a decent defense. And it's all up to Aaron Rodgers. He is pretty much he controls their fate. I just feel like this team, I don't think they're Super Bowl they have a chance for a Super Bowl, but I don't think they're gonna win it.
All right. Danny, what are your predictions for the NFC North?
So, my predictions on the NFC on the thing is that I think that the Lions will come in last, only because I think they're struggling on all topics, because on offense they're not scoring as much as other teams, will say Vikings, Packers, and other teams too. They're not scoring that much, and also on defense we'll say they're kind of struggling and stuff, but they can get better. They just gotta practice. That's all they need to. The record, I say that probably they're gonna be like, we'll say 2-15 this year. Not the best year this year, I think. And then there's the Bears. I have the Bears being in third place, only because I know the Bears took Justin Fields. That was actually a really good pick for them. That was a good pick. But also, I was surprised that Justin Fields wasn't picked earlier. I thought he was going to be in not the teens, in the ones. I thought someone else was going to draft him, but didn't happen. So I guess Justin Fields is probably going to help the Bears. He will. And then the Bears are a pretty good defensive team. I'm not going to lie. They're a pretty good defensive team. They have good players on defense and stuff, but on offense, the Bears are not the best at offense. They're average, we'll say. And I have their record gonna be 5-12 this year for the Bears.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a reason why Justin Fields dropped lower? Like, do you think they found something out with him and they just can tell us, or do you think it was a good number for him to be drafted?
I mean, yeah, it was a good pick, and yeah, I'll say so. Sure, I agree with that. That's true. It is. Yeah, it is. And continuing what I was saying, second place, the Vikings. I have because the Vikings are actually a pretty decent team. I'm not gonna lie, they are a pretty good team. A pretty good team because they on offense they have Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen. But Kirk Cousins is not like insane, not like that. I would say he's an average quarterback. We'll say I'll rate him like a 5 out of 10-ish, something like that. But he needs to work on stuff too. And then Dalvin Cook's their best player for sure. On offense, he's their best player, or on the team, he's their best player. His speed is really good. He was in like the top 3 best running backs this year. He was probably the best running back last year. I'm not gonna lie, he probably was, other than Derrick Henry. He probably was. So I'm just thinking that the Vikings are gonna be good. And also Kirk Cousins, like whenever he finds Adam Thielen or anybody else who's open, I say he has like a good eye to find them. I say the Vikings are actually a good team on offense, but they're not that good on defense. They're good on defense, but not that good. And then so I think the Vikings will have a pretty good season this year, but I don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year. In the record, I say that they're gonna be 7 and 7-10, sorry. 7-10. And then last but not least, we have the Green Bay Packers. Everybody probably thinks, other than me, that the Packers are probably going to be number 1. They're probably going to think that because they have 3 players that are really, really good. And you probably know who those are. That is Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams. Because I say because the reason why they're this good is because they have those players. Because like Aaron Rodgers is like one of the best quarterbacks this year. He's in the top 3 for sure. He was MVP, so he was probably. And then Aaron Jones, he's a top 10 running back this year. He should be. And then there's last but not Devontae Adams. He is probably the body of their team. Not the body, but he's in a very important part of their team this season. It's probably going to be every season he's on the Vikings. He's going to have a very important season. He should have a really good year because he's just good at catching.
Danny.
Yeah.
Do you mean to say the Packers, not the Vikings?
Oh my God, I'm so weird these days. I feel like I said something wrong. So anyway, for the record, for the Packers, I think it's probably they're gonna have a really good season this year. I'm gonna say 14-3 this year. Honestly, the Packers are just really good because they have those 3 players. They're good on defense too, but I'm not gonna lie, the Packers are good. They're a good team. So honestly, I think they're gonna make it at least maybe to the conference finals. I guess they'll probably make it that far. So that's where I'm gonna go right now.
All right. My NFC North predictions are for last place. It's gonna be somewhat close, but also not. For last place, I have the Lions. They're gonna be 5-12, maybe even 4-13. They're gonna have they're gonna like lose their first. They're gonna have a somewhat average start. They're gonna go 2-7. And then just go add another 2, and then they just lose the next 6 games. They're gonna go 2-0, 2-7, 4-7, and then 4-13. All right, but yeah, they're just not gonna have. They're gonna have a really. They're gonna have a really weak team, and they need to get one more generational prospect. Like you have Justin Jefferson and you have Justin Herbert. They need to find one good player in the draft. Penei Sewell was a great pick. It's just that they need to build more offensively. I know Penei Sewell's on offense. They should have got like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that kind of nature. And that could have definitely helped Jared Goff and get some more weapons. All right, I have the Bears going 7 and 10 because the Bears have somewhat of a hard schedule, but the Bears don't have a true quarterback. Their quarterback last year was Mitch Trubisky. Who was the backup last year, Jacob, for the Bears? Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles.
Oh, Foles.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Foles. It was
yeah.
Foles.
Trubisky and Foles are gonna be like they don't have a chemistry. Like that's just so hard to have two different quarterbacks, two different play calls. It's just gonna be so different because they both have two different play styles. But yeah, they have two different quarterbacks this year also. Like they need to just get with one quarterback and stick with it because they're gonna have a lot more chemistry issues with the team. But do you guys agree with like having two quarterbacks? You need to stick with one quarterback. Do you guys agree that they need to stick with one quarterback?
Sure, I'll say so. Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's just the play calls. All right. Yeah. And then in my second place, it's the Vikings, but they're going to make the wild card this year easily. They're going to go 10-7 because you have the Bears and Lions to beat up on. They should go 3-1, not including the Packers, not when they're not facing the Packers in the division. So they have an insane offense, very thrilling. You have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins. But Kirk Cousins isn't the best. So if they can get like somewhat of an average quarterback, maybe what's the one average quarterback? Let me think. Like just any average quarterback, just any average quarterback, it's all they need. And they're going to be insane team. Their defense is great also. I can't lie. They have a really good defense. Harrison Smith. I can't think of any other names because it's 8:00 at night, 7:00 at night. But I'm tired. I was just in DC. But yeah, they have a really good team. They should go 10-7 here. The Packers this is all if Aaron Rodgers stays, as long as we just go to the Broncos. They're gonna go 12-5, maybe even 13-4. Because Aaron Rodgers they're gonna score like 15. No, not 15. They're gonna score 28 points a game, 30 points a game. And when you're scoring that numbers, your defense just needs to hold up for like your defense just needs to allow 20 points and you win. That's just that simple. That's easy math. Score 28, 35, give up 24, you win. Their defense just needs to play their par, and their offense needs to play up to their expectations. They're gonna win games, and that's just gonna make their year a lot easier and their division a lot easier because you also have the Bears, Lions, and that's it. All right, guys, thank you for watching this episode. See you guys next time.